Wir haben hier die außergewöhnliche Gelegenheit, mit Nick Appleyard, dem CEO von TriStar Gold, zu sprechen. Ein Gold Explorer, ein kanadischer Gold Explorer, der in Brasilien aktiv ist. Wir haben schon verschiedentlich berichtet. Das Unternehmen kümmert sich um das sogenannte CDS, Castelho de Sonhos Projekt in Brasilien und hat da ein umfangreiches Bohrprogramm laufen. Wir wollen jetzt mal hören, wie es damit steht und wie es weitergehen soll. Welcome, Nick. Good to see you here in Hamburg.
Beautiful Hamburg, yeah.
It's not usual that people come here. Usually everybody just goes to Frankfurt. But as long as we have here time for an update. Yeah. Well, we've been reporting on TriStar for a while now, but I still think it would be good to give people an idea, a very short overview of what the project is and what it's about.
Okay, absolutely. No, so Castelo de Sonhos, which in English is the Castle of Dreams, it's a gold deposit, central Brazil. It's potentially a very large gold deposit. We took over running it about 2 years ago now. At that point, it had less than 300,000 ounces on it of resources. As of December last year, we've got it now to 1 million ounces of inferred and 500,000 ounces of indicated, 1.2, 1.8 grams. So the growth has been, I think, nothing short of spectacular. We've probably drilled still less than 60% of the deposit, and this year the aim is to try and drill that remaining surface target. So far this year we've drilled around 5,000 meters. We announced last week that the results are in line with expectations, and the program is moving ahead really nicely. So,
well, let's back up a bit. We're talking about a gold project, but that can mean a lot of different things. I think it's called in English paleoplacer.
It's a paleoplacer.
Can you just give us 2 sentences what this means?
Yeah, paleoplacer really means it's a placer deposit, which means the gold has been washed down into an alluvial fan by rivers, and the action of water from an original deposit in a mountain range, and then buried for a very long time. Interesting thing about paleoplacers is that there are not very many of them around the world, but when you find them, they're very big. I think the statistic is around 40% of all the gold ever found in the world has come from paleoplacers. So they're very significant deposits.
And obviously you already successfully drilled the project, so you're experienced in how to drill it, how to get the results, because when you compare it to the Pilbara region in Australia, where they're looking for conglomerate gold, yes, also, they're having a bit of difficulty to find out how to report it or to grade it. Can you tell us what's different at your project?
Yeah, absolutely. As you referred to the Pilbara, it's Nova Resources, and founded by Quentin Henning, who's actually on our board of directors. Him and I do swap ideas a lot on the deposits and talk about them a lot. The real difference is the mechanics are the same, the style of deposit is the same. The real difference is the style of the gold. In the Pilbara, they have very nuggety gold. They have, it's quite large nuggets, and they're scattered around. With us, we have very fine gold disseminated evenly, which makes it a lot easier for us to drill, assay, and measure how much gold is in the ground, because every time we hit it, we get a pretty good estimation of how much gold is there, rather than trying to hit and find where the occasional nuggets are, which is the Pilbara situation.
Okay, so good to know. Then let's get on to it. You said that the program's already running. Before we get to the first set of results you published recently, tell us what is the overall aim? What are you doing, and what is the overall aim?
The overall aim this year, we've published the results last year where we got that million inferred, 500,000 indicated. Internally, we would very much like to grow that still further. We feel like we're in a rapid expansion phase right now. So the aim of the drilling this year, we want to drill 20 to 25,000 meters of drilling. The aim is all further expansion of that resource. We're not doing any infill drilling, so it's all expansion to increase that inferred aspect of the resource. Hopefully, so we get north of 2 million ounces, into a big resource area. So that's the target for the year, and then beyond that, we've been publish a PEA.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long it's going to take, the DIRC program? You're going to publish results intermittently? Or?
Yes, well, what we do to make life easier for the investors who want to analyse our data, we have complete tables of all our significant intersections available on our websites, so people don't have to go to various press releases and try and piece them together.
So it makes my job easier too.
It does. So it's one big table with all the results, and we will update that on a monthly basis, coincident with the press release, which will have our explanation of what the new results mean. I think that's a nicer way to do it. It makes it easier for the investor to see the big picture. So.
Okay. So where are you now into the program?
We've drilled about 5,000 metres now. We've got the results from the first, I think, only 9 holes, which are available on our website. And the rig is still turning during the RCU. And it'll probably go through until September, October, if all things go well.
And then would be, you said you have 5,000 meters now, how much would be? What's the plan?
The plan is to get to around 20,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a lot more of results to come.
A lot more results to come, yes. Absolutely.
Okay, so we are hoping for good news flow there.
We should have. The other thing that we actually announced last week, which is important, is as well as the drilling, we do have guys on the ground working, and we always talk about. We have 16 kilometres of outcrop of the mineral zone. We added another 3 kilometres to that last week. We've identified the conglomerate coming to surface. Traditionally, we had like a horseshoe shape. Now it's closed off to almost a complete bowl. So we found the other bit, the missing limb, and it's added 3 kilometres of strike to where the conglomerate breaks surface, and it's there, and there's some Garampera workings, and it's
so that was done by ground
surface working, yes. So that will be hopefully drill tested later in the year.
Okay, very nice. So you've got your next targets coming up.
Absolutely, it's all growing.
Now, all this sounds good, but still, the gold price is not, making it easier for gold exploration companies at the moment. What is your take on this? Is this a final,
Now, the gold price is not helping. It's not terrible, but it's not helping. I think we see there's a lack of retail interest in the sector as well, on top of the gold price, which doesn't help. Everything works in cycles. For me, I think as when I look at my personal investment sort of thoughts and how I look at things, you want to buy low and sell high. The gold industry's low, so it might not go up tomorrow, it might not be next week, but it's at a low now, and sometime in the future it'll be higher. So I do see it as a very good entry point into the industry, and of course into TriStar.
He would say that, of course. Well, that's very good, but I introduced people to you and saying it's exceptional that you're in Hamburg. Yep. But can you tell us about the trip to Europe you did? What you got?
Yeah, we've been travelling in mainly Germany and Switzerland this week, and getting the story out, meeting a lot of people. And it's been surprising, the level of interest. I find the investors in this part of the world have a longer term view than maybe when I'm touring Canada. And that aspect that I mentioned, half jokingly, that gold's at a low now, seems to be attracting more attention. I've been very, very surprised on this trip how bullish people are, not on the state of gold today, but on the state of where they think it'll be in, sometime in the foreseeable future. So they're like, okay, this is an entry point. So this trip has been quite enlightening from that point of view, because if you spend your time on Bay Street, it can be all gloom and doom. Yeah. Here, that gloom is seen as an opportunity.
Interesting. Well, I hope the rest of your trip goes well too. When you're heading back home?
I go from here to London tonight. I have a couple of days in London, and I get home late Saturday night.
Okay. So safe trip, and good to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Good.